You start hopping in rivers and in the dirt, you'll never go back to a bathroom again.
Influencer Joe Fels, who is known for documenting his spiritual journey and his life off the grid, is dead at age 40.
Just a few hours after the information was broadcast, a chilling announcement from his life partner sparked the biggest conspiracy theory wave of 2026. Joe Fels, a real estate millionaire, a social media phenomenon with over 1.4 million followers, suddenly bid farewell to this world at the age of 40.
Life has done a complete 180 in the last 2 months, but I know that we're going to be okay.
From a former inmate rising to become a real estate millionaire and a social media monument, why did Joe collapse? Right, while standing at the peak of his career. Amidst countless fake rumors and a firm statement from the family, the truth behind the haunting final days in Costa Rica will leave you completely dumbfounded. The past 3 months have been recorded as the darkest, most volatile chapter, enduring extreme psychological pressures in the life of Joe Fels. The focal point of the series of tragedies began this past May, when the small family had to receive an uncompensatable shock: the sudden departure of his biological father, Mr. Mike Felz. For Joe, his father was not only the one who gave birth to him, but also a solid spiritual fulcrum, a great source of inspiration shaping his mettle and career over decades. This unexpected departure dealt a fatal blow to the psychology of a son who always placed family affection above all else. Those familiar with the family's circumstances confirmed that heartbreaking event completely collapsed Joe's spirit, making his eyes that were once full of the aspiration to rise suddenly become more gloomy, quiet, and tired than ever. Throughout the following months, parallel to the pain of losing a loved one, Joe Fels's body also began emitting serious warning signals after years of working with high intensity, personally refurbishing hundreds of houses and maintaining complex construction projects. The colossal pressure from operating a multi-state business system, combined with the responsibility of maintaining the attraction of a personal brand, with over 1.4 million followers, squeezed out all his strength. International press sources, typically information recorded on the Daily Mail page, stated that Joe once had to go through an emergency medical rescue session because of total exhaustion and health issues arising from a harsh, isolated lifestyle. The body, once accustomed to endurance, now had to face ceaseless pains, pushing him into a solitary space, depleted both physically and mentally. That comprehensive collapse quickly reflected through clear changes in Joe's activity pace and interaction capability on cyberspace throughout this past June and July. If previously he was an energetic content creator, continuously updating every step in the journey of modifying a bus, or developing solar energy with his partner Alexandra, this period witnessed a terrifying silence. Inspirational videos were completely interrupted, yielding place to a murky void, full of signs of instability. His girlfriend, Alexandra, later partly revealed this extremely tense period, admitting that life pressure, family tragedy, and declining health conditions completely eroded Joe's inherent energy source. In a rare time recalling her partner's mood before the incident time, she once sorrowfully shared about his deeply hidden concerns. There are days when the burden on your shoulders is so big that you just want to let go of everything to find peace in your soul. Longtime followers began noticing the abnormality through posts gradually thinning out and then disappearing completely. The pressure from global fame, the pain of losing his father, the unexpected severe illness, and the isolation in the Costa Rican jungle struck down a man who had once resiliently overcome prison to find freedom. That was a period when silence did not bring peace, but instead a stormy pause before the final event officially struck down. The mysterious departure at age 40. On this past August 3rd, official information regarding the departure of Joe Fels at age 40 was widely published on the Instagram social media platform. This event marked the milestone of the sudden cessation of all business operation activities and content production of one of the prominent figures in the real estate business and off-grid living community. The news quickly crossed the scope of personal information channels, becoming the focal point of attention of international news bulletins when the detailed causes leading to the incident were not immediately announced by competent authorities in initial statements. The first declaration was issued by his longtime life partner, Alexandra, through her official personal account on the social media system. The content of the post confirmed the time Joe permanently passed away while transmitting a contemplative message about the journey of closing the inner torments of the deceased person. The exact official declaration recorded on the platform clearly stated, "Joe has left this world and finally found his freedom." This quoted excerpt immediately attracted tens of thousands of interaction turns, reflecting the ultimate shock of the follower community, before an event happening completely without prior warning signs for a content creator who is at the age of career development. During the chaotic days immediately following the official announcement, the global digital media landscape witnessed an overwhelming explosion of conflicting information. Streams, wild speculative hypotheses, and unchecked conspiracy theories intensely revolving around the sudden and mysterious cause of his passing. The conspicuous absence of detailed forensic autopsy reports from competent authorities and functional agencies in Costa Rica generated a massive information vacuum, prompting numerous online accounts and opportunistic commentators to spontaneously manufacture and disperse inaccurate data regarding his underlying health conditions or surrounding environmental factors. This severe information turbulence spread rapidly across major social media platforms like Facebook and various prominent online forums, exerting crushing direct pressure on his grieving family and close relatives who were already struggling through the harrowing process of organizing his final funeral rites. Facing the situation where fake accounts, narratives, and toxic assumptions continued escalating on a wide scale, Alexandra was forced to issue a second statement to directly rectify the situation. This declaration strongly criticized speculative rhetoric, baseless guesses, and sensational fabricated stories targeting the sudden incident of Joe Fels. The content of the correction demanded the public community groups and independent media parties to immediately stop spreading false information, while calling for absolute respect for the family's privacy in the confused funeral circumstances when post-mortem procedures are still being carried out, according to local regulations. Besides the requirement to terminate malicious speculations, the second statement also clearly affirmed the family's stance on transparentizing official data when the legal timing allows. The commitment recorded in the statement clearly stated, "The truth will be shared at the appropriate time." This legal and media move helped cool down somewhat the wave of turbulence on online platforms, closing the first information crisis phase after the departure of Joe Fels. Closing the mysterious curtain on the haunting final days, the real journey to understand the life of Joe Fels lies precisely in the very past that he never hid. To find the answer, we are forced to flip back time, returning to the darkest starting point where the prison vice once imprisoned the youth of someone who once stood at the bottom of society. The past behind bars. Born on June 27, 1986, in the city of Augusta, Georgia, Joe Fels spent his formative years navigating a harsh family environment, heavily burdened by economic instability, while directly confronting the bitter underbelly of a social system that notoriously lacked tolerance or second chances for troubled lives. Right from his early childhood, that unforgiving and impoverished atmosphere taught him the painful foundational lesson that everything in life demands a heavy price, paid in sweat, tears, and bitter sacrifices. The relentless material deprivation and pervasive instability surrounding his living space inadvertently pushed Joe off course into dangerous detours, entangling him deeper and deeper into a perilous legal whirlpool and forcing him to pay a steep price through multiple consecutive prison sentences. That deeply flawed and stained past was later confronted with absolute candor and straightforwardness by Joe himself, as he bravely and publicly acknowledged that he was once a former inmate who had stumbled countless times behind cold iron bars. To much of society, that dark corner represents something that should be buried forever beneath a polished, flawless veneer. But for Joe specifically, it remained an undeniable raw reality that molded and forged his true character. Throughout his many heart-to-heart shares with the community after his rehabilitation, he never once sought to mask or concoct excuses for his reckless teenage mistakes. Instead, he proactively chose to face the harsh reality head-on, viewing that grueling period of punishment behind detention walls as the most invaluable and profound lesson required to reshape and refine his entire character. Joe's life philosophy was built on the foundation of complete self-responsibility, demonstrated through the clear perspective he once summarized about his own redemption journey. Redemption is not something granted, but something you must win for yourself. That mindset showed a profound transformation in awareness when he did not wait for pity or amnesty from society, but snatched back the right to rebuild from ashes by himself. The years of facing isolation behind bars created an extremely solid psychological protection armor, helping him train steel discipline and the capability to endure pressure at the highest level. Coming from the bottom of society and fatal stumbles in the past created a completely different stepping stone for the business career of Joe Fels after stepping out of prison. That was the core premise for him to step into a shocking new chapter, turning someone who once stood at the margins of law and society into a powerful inspirational figure before destiny led him into brilliant but short-lived turns later on. The $1 Million Empire. The year 2011 marked the official legal and economic turning point in the life of Joe Fels when he completed the community reintegration process and stepped into the commercial real estate business field in the United States. Starting out with a limited startup capital level of $19,000, he established a company named Felz Investment Group in Georgia State. This initial financial amount required an extremely strict resource allocation strategy, laying the foundation for the operating model focusing on single-family housing segments, house fixing, and short-term rental assets in two key markets, being Georgia State and Washington State. The enterprise's initial operational model focused entirely on locating, acquiring, thoroughly renovating, and repricing real estate properties having severely degraded status or technical entanglements. Business records recorded the operating method bearing high-intensity labor characteristics in which Joe Fels directly participated in technical construction, demolition, and installation stages instead of completely delegating to general subcontractors. Practical statistics from operation processes confirmed that he directly and physically refurbished over 300 houses from severely damaged states into commercial standard residential products. The development of transaction scale required expansion regarding legal structure and practical operational capacity. In the mid-2010s decade, besides the initial investment legal entity, Joe Fels officially established and directly managed a specialized construction company aimed at optimizing material costs, controlling labor, and accelerating site processing progress for a series of fix-and-flip real estate projects. Vertical integration between asset acquisition stages and direct construction capacity helped enterprises control profit margins in the context of the housing market in the Pacific Northwest and Southeast U.S. regions, having many strong fluctuations regarding building material prices and technical labor costs. The continuous cash flow reinvestment strategy from successful trading deals helped the owned asset portfolio scale grow exponentially in following years. At the time, before shifting direction to the renewable energy field and digital content development portfolio reports recorded Joe Fels holding legal ownership rights over about 70 residential real estates scattered across 4 different states. These assets were structured into long-term rental systems, short-term rentals, and flexible accommodation models, generating a stable passive income source to sponsor subsequent solar energy technology development projects and off-grid living lifestyles. Evaluating executive mindset during this period, business analysis documents recorded the highly executable practical approach of the Felz Investment Group boss. Joe's asset management perspective was not based on academic theoretical financial indexes, but was distilled from manual labor realities and personal experiences through harsh real estate market cycles. In exchanges with business partners about the philosophy of building a career from scratch, he once emphasized the core focus of the real value creation process through the statement, "Every property matters, every renovation has value, and every transaction is an opportunity to prove that you can build an empire from nothing," combined with the perspective of positioning himself as a direct creator, instead of just playing the role of an ordinary financial investor. The transition process from a former inmate with no accumulated assets into a founder owning a portfolio of dozens of commercial real estates completed the foundational structure for the business career of Joe Fels. Technical and financial achievements attained during this period created solid resources for him to confidently step into a new chapter in developing independent energy systems and building a personal brand on the global cyberspace. The Deep Forest Millionaire. The first half of the 2020s decade witnessed the comprehensive shift of Joe Fels from the real estate investment field to the global digital content creation space. By utilizing major social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, he step-by-step built an online media ecosystem with a total follower count exceeding the 1.4 million mark. Content orientation did not focus on displaying wealth or chasing commercial entertainment trends, but completely revolved around practical technical topics, including van nomad lifestyles, independent solar energy solutions, and off-grid living philosophies, completely separated from the national power grid. The strong development of personal brand went hand in hand with self-sufficient living models and DIY technical solutions. Videos released by Joe continuously recorded in detail complex technical stages in designing mobile solar power systems, optimizing living spaces in motor vehicles, and sharing operational experiences in renewable energy infrastructure. This model created great attraction for the viewer community interested in survival techniques and sustainable development. In shares regarding content goals, he once emphasized the core philosophy through the statement, "Every post matters, every video has value, and every moment is an opportunity to inspire others to take control of their lives," thereby positioning himself as a practical educator instead of an influencer chasing virtual fame on cyberspace. The journey of digital career development and nomadic lifestyle recorded the frequent companionship of partner Alexandra, a content creator specializing in projects converting buses into mobile homes. The combination of two individuals sharing a vision for sustainable development created large-scale collaborative projects, including designing autonomous accommodation vehicles and building compact residential ecosystems. The couple together operated online business activities, distributed technical instruction content, and established a network connecting communities of people pursuing minimalist lifestyles across the North American region. A major turning point in settlement and business operations strategy took place when Joe Fels decided to relocate all living and content production activities to Costa Rica. This Central American land was chosen as the new headquarters to actualize small-scale ecological energy projects and optimize remote business operation costs. Here he continued maintaining the management of real estate legal entities in the United States while recording the adaptation process to the tropical rainforest environment through regular updates. Life in Costa Rica completely did not maintain the flashy luxury often seen in celebrities, but was shaped by tranquility, high focus, and clear purpose in every daily task. Evaluating asset structures and personal economic models, financial reports recorded Joe's income coming from a diverse combination including commercial real estate revenue in Georgia and Washington state, the affiliated construction company, solar energy projects, and social media platform exploitation activities. Even though possessing solid financial capability, after more than a decade of operating at a high level, he refused a luxury consumer lifestyle. His financial philosophy and personal life orientation were summarized through the practical perspective from Alexandre. He doesn't need excess to feel successful. He needs respect from colleagues, love from family, and the understanding that he gave everything to the mission he loves. The process of living and working in Costa Rica closed the chain of non-stop efforts of an entrepreneur-cum-content creator before final events struck in early past August. The combination of accumulated asset-scale influence on digital spaces with over 1 million followers and a lifestyle tied to wild nature created a complete picture of the life of Joe Fels. That is the journey of an individual rising from the bottom of society, building his own economic empire with his own hands before choosing to stop at pristine lands to seek primitive freedom before the threshold of destiny closes. Closing the turbulent 40-year journey of Joe Fels from a criminal past behind bars, through a real estate empire built from scratch by his own hands, to the isolated and ambitious years in Costa Rica, his story is a clear testimony to survival willpower and fierce freedom aspiration. Even though the sudden departure closed a life of many ups and downs and left echoes regarding last-minute controversies, the legacy of resilience, practicality, and inspirational energy that he left behind will still linger in the community. If the story about the life and resilient journey of Joe Fels brings you deep perspectives, spend a moment to remember the values he pursued. Do not forget to hit the like button, share this video to interested people, and subscribe to the channel to continue accompanying us in preserving and spreading the most authentic stories. Thank you for your attention and tracking, and see you again in the next contents.